Well, a couple things have really aligned. One, the Holy Father came out with his encyclical, Laudato Si, which tells us we should embrace solar and doing the right thing for our environment. So that, we listen to the Holy Father. That's a big impact. But then when I put my finance officer hat on, it also makes a lot of sense on the financial side now too.
We have some great friends in this room, people who have really supported this work over the past 6 months. So, as Tom mentioned, we're a nonprofit organization, faith-based. We have a history of doing litigation and public organizing, public education. We have been focusing on climate change because of the Pope's climate message.
Something I wanted to just kind of start off with was just the idea of kind of why we're here in the first place. I mean, kind of what we're all talking about here, this idea that there's this climate change, this global warming thing that we all hear about, and how can we impact that on the parish level, as individuals, what can we do? And it comes down to energy. Is kind of the simplest, kind of most direct way we can do that. I like to start with this slide. I think it's a really powerful image. This is St. Peter's, obviously. Just a couple of years ago, they installed a massive solar panel system on their rooftop just outside of St. Peter's. And they kind of took the first step to act as a symbol for the rest of us. Obviously, the systems that we're talking about are a lot smaller in scale, but still, collectively, the diocese can have a really big impact.
This is a burgeoning space right now. There's a lot going on. Lots of new companies entering, lots of new technologies being experimented with. This team here is a terrific model for doing this work. As Tom mentioned, they have a unique approach. They get the need down first. You're going to save 25% of your electricity going forward because of the work that they're going to do at the front end of this whole process.
What we've seen so far has been very promising. In fact, we've signed a contract for one location already, one of our parishes, and we're just moments away from signing the contract for the diocese. So we're trying to be a leader in this ourselves, to be a leader, but also to figure out if there's problems, that we encounter those problems before you're doing that.
It's really more about looking at your efficiencies first. How can we reduce our current demand first and then offset the rest? We look at lighting, we look at your heating and your air conditioning, we look at windows. Anywhere where you're potentially using energy that you don't need to, where we can reduce your current usage levels. And so we try to create a structure that essentially requires no out-of-pocket expense, where the savings from all the efficiencies in the solar are greater than the payment on that financing. Through our assessment, we've discovered that you use about 60,000 kilowatt hours in the lighting alone. Just the lighting uses almost half, but about 40% of all the energy used at the parish is due to lighting. So we make that change to LEDs. It offsets about half of that, which amounts to about a 25% reduction of the entire parish just by changing the lights. That leaves us with this number. Again, we've reduced it as much as we can through lighting and efficiency work, and then we say, okay, we're going to need this much solar to offset the remaining portion. And all of that together, and we've brought the entire system down to about 7%. So we've reduced 93% of their bill, of their energy usage and their bill. The roof, the solar, and the lighting all together is going to cost about $250,000. The savings from all of that is going to be about $23,000, $500 on the utility side. There's another $1,000 in estimated maintenance savings. This is kind of savings from not having to go and replace all the CFL bulbs all the time, not having to hire a lift and someone to come out and change the bulbs that are way up in the ceilings, and some of these chapels have these lights that no one could ever change. This system alone is going to reduce over 1,800 tons of carbon dioxide being put into the air. That's equivalent to taking 300 passenger cars off the road, over 3 million miles being driven. It's the equivalent of 36,500 trees grown, 1,300 acres of forest being replaced. So this is just one parish, and I think this is a really powerful symbol. And I mean, you think about collectively the entire diocese making all these improvements, making these changes. You're talking about a very significant impact, a really significant change, and a symbol really for our communities, our parishioners, and just really the rest of the country and the world.
As I mentioned earlier, we really see this as a win-win-win. You know, we're embracing the Holy Father's Laudato Si. We're embracing doing the right thing for the environment. I put my finance officer's hat on. We're saving money, and these things pay for themselves pretty quickly in a long-term scheme. And the third win is the model that we're providing. You know, when people see us putting solar panels on our buildings and taking these steps, we're hopefully introducing that maybe into their life, that they're saying, yeah, maybe I've been thinking about that. And so it is an opportunity to be talking about this and to be embracing our parishes and our parishioners and our students and families about maybe them taking those steps too. So it's a real opportunity in that way. So I really see it as a win-win-win. Let's talk about what's next. How does this work? The assessments are, you call John Conway, right? Or email John, or you can talk to John today and say, we want to get on the list for an assessment. I think that list is getting longer because this is our fourth show in the diocese, and that will get the assessment going. And then once you see this and say, oh, we definitely want to do the light bulbs, or we want to do the full Monty would do the full thing with the solar as well, and this is the way it's going to look, then get me involved. And that I'll be somewhat expecting a phone call from somebody on your finance committee or the pastor or the business manager to say, okay, we're thinking about this project, and it costs this amount, what's our loan, and how's that going to work. So I've gone to our the folks that oversee the bank, the Parish and School Operating Corp, that oversees the banking system for our parishes and schools. They have approved me to roll these loans out based upon the projects as they come in. It's an automatic if it's a 10-year payoff or less, and if it's between 10 and 15, I can go up to 15 based upon your project. Now, I don't know if Chip's talked to you, but one of their advisors was already talking to me after the last presentation. He goes, we've got savings, Tom, and I don't think we want to, pay you 4.5% when you're only paying us 2% on our savings. So we're going to probably pay for a lot of this up front, which is great. I mean, that's a great thing to do, because then you start to make the cash right back into your budget automatically. I know if you can reduce your operating costs, you have plenty of things that you would rather do with that money. There's ministry, there's things you can do in your parishes and schools that you'll put that money to use I know right away. The other piece, the seed I want to plant with everyone, is this is a great opportunity to raise some money, because people are engaged with this. You can talk about Laudato Si, you can talk about being green, you can talk about just promoting this in a positive way, and say to people, we want your investment, help us do this. We know that people are interested in this. Father Derek is my poster child on this over at Corralitos. They, 2 years ago, that's the one parish that already has solar on their roof. He said, we just want to buy the system. I know it doesn't pencil out, but our finance committee, our parish wants to do this. This is how our community thinks it's the right thing to do. They raised the money. So he goes, I'm going to pay for it all from fundraising anyway. If I'm getting it paid for, it pencils out day one. And he's absolutely right. So if you can raise the money, that's even a bigger home run for you.
My name is Bob Murrin. I am the Catholic priest, the pastor here at St. Michael's, and we have had our new lighting and the solar on the roof installed just a month ago. There's not another entity in the world that is better prepared to follow through and really make a mark in terms of what the Pope had written. We have parishes just like this one all around the globe, and this has the potential to touch so many people. This is the gospel of Christ in the most special and beautiful way.